She was not quite able to get in range to land her Unleash the Power, which meant that she had to either flash in and die or not use it at all. She mostly went for the first option. She flashed in, and most of the times, even then, she didn't have the range to nuke someone, and thus was taken down. However, her nukes were very effective in the early game. We have seen it countless times in the middle lane. Lulu just melted as soon as she used her ultimate, and this time they're gonna go for Anivia. It's a little less burst, a little more AoE, DOT, I suppose.
Guess so. We'll see what they actually... Yeah?
I'm not quite sure about this pick because it doesn't really fit to the rest.
Which one now?
The Anivia.
The Anivia... I mean, what she is able to do is create another zone with a wall, which is really cool. Plus...
That is true.
The ultimate plus the frostbite can actually do a huge amount of burst damage as well, and she has another stun. So imagine if Leona goes in with that Zenith Blade, lays down the Solar Flare, and then you have the crystallized from Anivia on top of that. It is such a long stun duration that it is definitely enough to kill anyone, together with that Kha'Zix and the Lucian. And Anivia, if she gets a couple of kills, will be very, very dangerous damage-wise as well. She is able to do a lot with very little items early in the game. She takes very long to ramp up and is very immobile, but I don't think she's going to be under that much pressure in the early game, just because Orianna by herself shouldn't have too much of a kill threat, and if Anivia just plays a little bit careful, Jarvan won't have too many opportunities either.
Yeah, she has the stun, she has no escapes though, and Orianna has pretty good measures of poking her, so I think she's going to have some trouble early on, but I don't think it'll culminate in a kill. I don't even think it'll pop the passive. That needs jungler intervention. Yeah, I suppose the Anivia is a pick to make this rather pick-centered team composition that AH went for in this game into a viable team fight composition as well, because putting down the ultimate does create a rather large field, which does deal a lot of damage if she does get going.
So, 1.5 minutes left on the delay timer before we do get into the game. Until then, excuse me, we have a short time to look at these lanes again, and it is going to be Caitlyn Thresh up against a Leona Lucian this time around.
Well, so we saw Caitlyn Leona in an earlier game. Caitlyn Thresh is going to be something different. I do think it is a very good matchup because Thresh also has a rather high auto attack range, especially for a support, for a melee support, let's put it like that. And he's going to be able to poke quite well, especially with his Flay passive, which gives him extra damage on auto attacks after a while. So Caitlyn and Thresh are able to poke quite well. The problem is that this Leona is going to wait for a moment and jump straight in. However, if she does jump in, then Thresh can immediately counter that by flaying and or hooking whoever is able to be hooked right now, depending on who Leona went in on. So it's going to be mainly a matchup of who can bait out the other skill shots and who can make important moments count.
And that Flay against the Leona can always be very impactful just because Thresh can interrupt the Zenith Blade, knock her back once, and if he does manage that, Leona's engagement potential is weakened considerably. We are getting into the game now. Game 3. The deciding one between these two teams. Whoever wins this will take home the prize of 3,200 RP. And the triumphant prize.
And the triumphant prize, yeah.
Now, who wouldn't want that? I want it. I'll take it. They decide they don't want it.
We should really enter that EGL 50 tournament. Not only do we get headsets, but also skins. But yeah,
Skins.
By the way, EGL number 50 next week. It is our 50th tournament, and we are celebrating by throwing in a special treat for everyone participating. The first prize pool is going to be extended by 5 Razer Kraken headsets. And they're going to be one to each member of the winning team, in addition to the 3,200 RP and the triumphant prize. So it's a big prize pool indeed, and we want to see teams work hard and fight hard for it. So tune in with us next week as we are going to have such a good tournament.
Exactly, so we want to see all of you there. Maybe you will be the team to make it all the way to the end and pick up the Razer Kraken headset. I mean, come on, guys, it's a headset for free.
Yeah, it's a gaming headset too.
How
so it's
could you-
specifically tailored for gaming?
How could you not want that? Anyway, we are on our way into the game though. Leona's still loading in. Once she is done, we will be seeing what happens in this game. Now, the one matchup we haven't really touched on yet is that Kha'Zix against Jarvan. And I think both of them have immense potential, and we saw last game what a Jarvan can do when he ganks a lot early on. But Kha'Zix currently in the current meta towards the late game is just so terrifying. Once he does get that Spirit of the Elder Lizard, then adds the Brutalizer and builds tank from there on with a Randuin's Omen or something, that is just not something most people can deal with.
Yeah, Kha'Zix is more mobile than Jarvan. Jarvan, of course, has his flag and drag combo, but that requires him to burn 2 cooldowns, and also he has to aim well. While Kha'Zix can just jump over any wall that he would like, and even do it faster than Jarvan ever could. As a trade-off, Jarvan's flag and drag does have a knock-up in there, but Kha'Zix can just simply dodge that with a leap. So I think if it comes to a 1-4 situation, if either of them gets caught out snooping around in the other team's jungle, Kha'Zix will have the edge, at least early on.
We are onto the Rift. Everyone walking out there into the lanes, of course, going to be looking to make their big first impact. The red team moving up into that bush, upside of the river, upside of the mid lane, moving into the enemy blue buff area. Might be looking for an early invade here.
Yeah.
Move around, Trundle.
Trundle is around in the area. He has spotted Renekton there, so they know what's going on in this jungle. The question is, will they leave a ward here, or are they going for the invade? They leave a ward, but it's not them who leaves it, it's Meme Lord who leaves it, just to make sure nobody goes in there. So I'm not quite sure what the point of that invade was, because they neither did get the buff, nor did they put any wards in there.
Just walk around a little bit, see if they could get a kill. If they could have, it would have been quite nice. All the things on the map. Now,
oh man.
one more thing we can talk about.
At some point, they will all have the ping spam block, so hopefully.
Can't be much longer until then, thank God.
Oh, look, it happened. No.
Suddenly it goes quiet. Oh God, and then it keeps going. Why would you do this to me? Can we like do something about this? Like complain or something?
Yeah, let's complain. Hey team, don't do that, please. Thank you very much. It even works, even though we're 3 minutes in the past. So yeah, Boss get helped out. Seawat's gonna pick up his blue buff, and Jarvan's gonna pick up his red buff. They're gonna meet up in the top lane. And that will be likely the first engagement between the two teams, at least unless the Meme Lord or Killer 1 make some flash plays happen.
I mean, Killer Midget right now already losing out on this trade big time too. That's really dangerous for him. If Trundle gets that level 2 earlier on, he still has that health potion. Both of them are chugging theirs, but Renekton is in a little bit of trouble there. Has to be really careful for the next minutes. He does have the Ignite though.
He is playing with fire. Yes. And I wanted to say that. I wanted to say that before you said about the Ignite, but no matter what, he is Scorched Earth Renekton, yes, and he's playing with fire. He will recall now. The Trundle's a little bit too strong for his comfort. Wonder what he'll pick up. Wonder if he'll go for an early ult.
I don't know whether I died or you died. So I'm just gonna keep talking for now. But it seems I'm alone. One thing that's interesting is that Thresh picked up that Relic Shield, and in the end, he is ranged, or he counts as ranged anyway, so he does not get executed. It's a lot harder for him with those stacks to share that gold from the minions than for Leona. Are you back? Not quite yet. Meanwhile, we do have an engage down in the bot lane. The Zenith lane, send onto Caitlyn. There's a heal and the exhaust already used. Leona in the bush, trying to get stuff onto Caitlyn. It is not working just yet, so nice engage. 2 summoners burned from the red team. And
yes,
you're back.
I am back indeed. Apparently I just lost the connection to the server, but that's no problem. I am back now. Nothing has happened so far. There was a nice engagement in the bottom lane. D-Bots is waiting in the wings now. Maybe looking for a leap. If the enemy bottom lane stays around, but they're just going to ward the river, stay safe, and not go for anything flashy.
For now, everyone backs off. 2 summoners burned off the red team's bot lane, so that's a vulnerable area for the next couple of minutes. Exhaust and Heal are out of the game for a little bit of time. At least they still have their flashes, which is really the important thing. But Thresh, if he lands a couple more good hooks, not like that one, that only was a siege minion, it could be terrifying. Now Jarvan in the mid lane.
Jarvan in the mid lane going in. Lucky's so low, but he does survive. Of course, he still has his passive rebirth, so if he does go down, it won't be that much of a bad thing. Of course, it's a bad thing because it pops his passive, but at least he won't die. And Seabots was nearby, so he could have defended Anivia's egg. So, all in all, everyone got away clean.
No. Everyone just farms. Keep farming. It is another flash burn though, and we already have Orianna with a 10 CS lead, and that's not going to get any better while Blocky is with half HP under his own tower. It will give Orianna the opportunity to recall very early on, get that early Chalice of Harmony to try and sustain her mana in that mid lane forever and a day and just keep Anivia under pressure. And yeah, if those hooks land, it's dangerous. Except they don't yet.
Well, Kitao's doing a good job at keeping those auto attacks coming out, dealing lots of damage with his Flay passive. And that's a lot of poke, especially when combined with Kizo's Caitlyn. So that superior auto attack range keeps landing those auto attacks onto Bowling for Soup, even as he tries to chug his pot. They're keeping up the pressure. It works out a little bit in their favor. They're ahead in a bit of CS, but that's of course because there are more minions on the enemy charging towards the enemy right now, so less CS that have been picked up. But yes, Meme Lord in the top lane, in the meanwhile going solo against Killer 1. He is now putting on the pressure big time. It is level 5. I bet he is looking for an early level 6. He does get it. Now he could potentially die if he pops his dominance. Question is, will he go for it? Now he can't anymore because the Subjugate will be available for him. Kha'Zix hanging out nearby. Will he go for something here? In the bottom lane, though, Xenoblade lands on Kitao. Quickly plays back Lucian. Hooks in the minion.
That had hit Lucian. If that had hit Lucian, that would have been death. Or at the very least, the flash forced out of Lucian. And instead, still not the exhaust used out of Thresh. But by now, the exhaust from Leona is almost back up as well.
Yep.
Everyone stays calm.
Everyone stays calm. No recall either from the evil Twitch. He decides he will stay on lane and not fall behind on CS, even more than he already is. In a bit of trouble right now, having been pushed back under his turret and poked down quite low. He's also quite low on mana, but so is Kizo, and Kitao is pretty much... Kitao, along with Bowling for Soup, are the ones who have the mana, and they are also the ones who can make something happen, but the damage comes from the AD carry, so even if a hook lands, I'm not quite sure if they'll be able to turn it into something with such low mana pools.
What can they really do right now? It is 20 CS up for Orianna, just 5 for Jarvan. In the top lane, it's pretty much evened out again as well. Renekton just went back, has now got the pickaxe and the double longsword on top of that Doran's Blade, looking to go for the Tiamat and then the Hydra as fast as possible. Whereas Trundle, just like last game, is just trying to get that Blade of the Ruin King as quickly as he can.
Yeah, it helped him out a lot in the last game, so it makes sense for him to go in this game as well. So that the Meme Lord, why fix something that works? So Renekton knows what he's up to. Of course, Bilgewater Cutlass can only turn into one item. But Killer 1 Midget, if we take a look at the actual gold values, he's a bit ahead. He's also a bit ahead in the levels, and I don't think though that he really wants to go for a fight here. The Slice and Dice does deal commendable damage, but Meme Lord's auto attacks already pack quite a punch with that Bilgewater Cutlass.
Plus, he has a little bit of lifesteal in there as well, so he keeps himself nice and healthy. Both of the bot lanes have gone back, both of the AD carries picking up those BF swords. That's really the indication for a pretty even bottom lane. The supports are dead on even as well, with the exact same items across the board. Only a bit more health potions on Thresh, I think. In the end, that bot lane is really still anyone's game, and it's all going to come down to who can get the first kills. And Nivea, meanwhile, finally level 6, puts on some pressure onto Huntix.
Yeah, it's level 7 by now. Orianna has hit level 8, so she's still behind in lane, but Jarvan is waiting in the wing. Stands on top of a ward, though. The blockade knows exactly what he's up to. He decides to give up on this gank because Lucky noticed that he stood on a ward by the behavior of the bird and moves back into his jungle. So 10 minutes in, almost 10 minutes in, still no first blood. Early 300 gold lead in favor of AH, I believe. No, TEM.
Right now, Trundle bullying Renekton around a bit again, although the CS difference is, for now, still in Renekton's favor. The question is, how much longer will that hold, or how much will that matter? I mean, after all, last game, Rengar was perpetually ahead of that Trundle as well, but Trundle was stronger in the tower pushing game, so it was just not good enough. If that happens this time again, it could be devastating for the blue team, for the red team. And right now we see Kha'Zix moving down there into that bot lane, looking to make the gank happen. Meanwhile, Jarvan in top. So both of these junglers looking to make the first little bit of impact. Pretty sure Thresh saw him.
But sleeps in, he's in some major trouble. Box has been used there. Both get slowed down by it, but Medieval Twitch keeps landing the damage. Beautiful solo prayer. That's going to be the first blood. Going over to AH.exe with a nice gank on the bottom lane just after 10 minutes. And in the top lane, Killer 1 Midget may be in some trouble. Hikimari using the slice and dice may have gone in a little bit too deep though. Killer 1 Midget, he does pack quite a punch.
Right now, he already has that pickaxe and the double longswords, but with the knowledge of Jarvan being top, they just rush right around for the dragon. And Nivea stuck in mid farming, so Orianna would be. Oh, that steal!
Wow, that steal! He also gets the kill. Shockwave helped a little bit with Ace in the hole. One more auto attack onto Seabuds. He flashes away and saves his life, but that's a dragon steal and a kill. Wonderfully played by TEM.
And I can't believe Kha'Zix got out of that. That was with about 23 HP. Really, really close. That miss smite is devastating. It was a huge play from Orianna to push that lane so hard at just the right time to keep Anivia stuck there. She didn't have the opportunity to roam over to the dragon as well. And then Orianna got herself a beautiful kill, that Shockwave, doing so much damage. Ace in the hole coming through as well. So that's going to be the bottom tower as a follow-up. And that completely puts this game in favor of the blue team once more. 16,500 to 14,500 gold right now. 1-1 in kills and 1-0 in towers.
Yep. 2,000 gold in favor of TEM right now. And they're attacking the middle turret, but Huntix, he gets lipped on here by Kha'Zix, who jumps over the wall with a nice dissonant slow. Keeps him alive for now.
And ever. Use heal. So, Orianna burned another summoner there, but after the Nivea stun miss, there was not much more they could do to try and keep Orianna in place, try to take her out, so they just back off. Everyone content to keep on farming. We see 20 CS, 16 CS, that bot lane, almost 20 in that mid lane, and, I mean, another about 12 in that jungle area. So, blue team across almost all the lanes, a little bit ahead, if not even. Now, Leona, you are in trouble.
You are in trouble indeed. Medieval Twitch tries to get away from Jarvan, but he uses the Cataclysm. Medieval Twitch quickly using the flash to get out of there. Now Bowling for Soup gets hooked back in. He made him in major trouble here. Culling Burn from the side, but Ace in the hole will be enough to pick up the kill. That's one for TEM.
Leona wasn't able to get to the wall quickly enough to try and flash over it, so she did get taken out, and that's going to put Lucian at 1-0-0 and 1-0-1. Which is a nice... God, I don't mean Lucian, I meant Caitlyn. Surprise. 1-0-1, 105 CS. Almost on par with the rest of her team. I mean, Trundle at 108, Orianna at 110, and Caitlyn at 108. That's really close across the board, and she will have the Bloodthirst to complete it now. Trundle, the Blade of the Ruined King. Right now, the blue team are powering up across all the lanes.
They are indeed. They are looking strong right now to take this game and win it all. 3,200 RP and the Triumphant Rise, we talked about that already. But the damage is surely on from Mimulord onto this top outer turret. That's going to be the second turret here for TEM. They're now 3,000 gold ahead. The Rune King has also been used. And there's the Subjugate.
Subjugate coming out just to keep himself safe, restore a little bit of HP, and, you know, stay in that lane comfortably. Middle tower goes down as well. That's all three outer towers down right now. 4,000 gold, 3.5 actually, and Jarvan is looking to get another kill onto his top lane. Subjugate is down.
Watch out, there he comes. The pillar stands in his way, slices and dices through, has to flash as well. Hikimari, will he land another flag and drag? There is no turret there, so Kira got a long way home. Jarvan's not going for it.
And that was that tiny bit too soon for the Cataclysm. It's up right now. So imagine if that had been there, that would have surely been a dead Renekton because he already flashed and that Slice and Dice was used as well. Nice play there from the Jarvan to force out that flash once again. Jarvan this time around really having an impact on the game.
Yep, it is true. This time he has way more presence than he did in the last game. And those ultimates, yes. It was not available right now. It was just a little bit too soon. Should have waited a second more, but apart from that, he has been pretty much on point with his Cataclysms in this game. They always helped to catch people in. They were not always able to pick up a kill, but neither was the enemy. 2-1 right now, but they've got 3 turrets. They've stole the dragon. All the cards are in their hands.
What can they do with it? Will we see something like Game 1, where everyone then just waits around and does nothing for the longest time? Or will we have something akin to Game 2, where now that they have this advantage, they push it, they use it to then move on? And Nivea's still going to take a very long time to really ramp up. She's only got the Catalyst, and then that Chalice of Harmony. She's not even started stacking a Rod of Ages. She's not getting a tier, apparently. So it's going to take a long time for that champion to reach its maximum potential, and that just gives a big opening over to that Orianna, the Caitlyn, and the Trundle, who already can make the plays together with that Jarvan. They have the team fighting potential right off the bat. Have a lot of AoE damage, have a very strong split pusher with a teleport, and just a lot of options open to them right now. And I like what they're doing here, putting on pressure even into the enemy jungle. Might catch out Kha'Zix.
Might. See, Blood's doing some damage here. Box has been used, jumps away, but Hook gets hooked back in. Hero is there to deal the damage, and Lydia has rushed down her ultimate to create a field of slowness. Huntix gets stunned as he tries to jump in. It's the shockwave, pulls back to Zenith's blade though, onto her. Ace knows not quite enough to take down Blocky, but Huntix will take down the egg instead. Evil Switch bowling for Soup. They go to pulled back in. Evil Switch can only pull the culling and try to take down the last remaining survivors, but that was blocked. Was not enough damage, but the Piltover Peacemaker is so strong. One hit takes him down so low.
And that was a really good hook. Twice. Jarvan up in the top lane just in time to keep Trundle safe as well. Oh, that Ignite though. The Subjugate's not going to be enough. So that's going to be the kill for Renekton. Meanwhile, the tower in the mid lane went down as well. Orianna now on her way top. They might still try to kill Renekton off after all.
Well, Kitao and Huntix are on their way. The other one has quickly realized that this is not a situation you would like to be in. Kitao wants to move in for a hook. Oh, that was so close. He even managed to hook through the minions.
So not this time. I mean, he's doing really well with his hooks. That one missed for a change, and that's going to be the dragon over to the red team. But by now, it's 5,000 gold separating these two teams. So at least this time around, the advantage was used. And they've put on the pressure that I wanted them to put on. 3-0-0 Orianna right now has that needlessly large rod. Now, please, don't start being scared and just keep it up and be aggressive.
Yep, that is what they need to do in order to win this game. Teleport coming into the Dragon Pit. I'm not sure if this is the best of ideas. Meme Lord, can he 1v3 this? They all run away from him. The damage onto him is so high, gets stunned by bowling for Soup. Oh, he uses the Subjugate.
Bit late. Like, he used that at the very end. Just to chase a little, which wasn't really necessary. There's a big wave of minions bottom, so the rest of his team can't really try and shove down that bottom inner turret just yet, and it leaves Renekton alone up top for a very long time. So at least he gets one turret there. That makes it 4-1, and still a 3,000 goal lead over to the blue team. 4-2, and kills 18 minutes into this game. The blue team has... It is their game to lose, but at the same time, it is still very possible to throw this away, because only Orianna has those 3 kills, and she's walking very far forward, being very aggressive here.
That's true, they're going for the middle lane here, pushing the minions up to get a turret. The rest of the enemy team will just slowly push the waves back as they come in, if they've got quite a decent wave clear, but it looks like the rotation down to the middle inner will happen now. So this time, not like in game 1, they actually go for rotations, voting for Soup, jumping into his death, finding a nice solar flare though, but the shockwave finishes him off, and Seabutt in the middle of 4 members of TEM. That's gonna be his death. Double kill for Orianna. That's 2 down. It's the whole low. Nobody was low enough anyway, that's just to poke them down a little bit, but this inner turret is in serious danger and will go down here.
Huntix with some good fantasy points right here. getting another double kill, 5-0-0 now, Orianna with a huge place, and I almost think that was a little bit of a desperation engage. I don't think the red team realizes that the disadvantage wasn't too awful yet, and instead they just had the feeling we have to do something or we're gonna die. And the feeling they seem to be a little bit on tilt right now. That was not an engage they had to pick the way they did, and it really cost them badly.
It did. 3 went down. No, 2 went down. Could have been 3, though. They disengaged quickly, but 2 still fell victim to the enemy. And right now, it looks like there's a definitive lead building up. 5,000 gold almost. Does TEM have over their enemies? And right now, what they need to do is keep applying the pressure like they just did. They've got the mid ender down, they've got the bot ender down. Logical next target is the top ender.
And each time they've been able to pick a fight with it as well, that gave them quite a nice chunk of gold on top of everything else. Now the Rod of Ages is finally done for Anivia. She'll start stacking that up over the next 10 minutes. First one's already passed, so only 9 remaining. But Trundle in the top lane will only get stronger. He's got that chain vest now to go along with that Blade of the Ruined King, and of course that teleport halfway up again. It's going to be really, really dangerous to deal with, and Thresh, already tankier than Leona. Hasn't got the Merc Treads, and instead went for the Boots of Mobility, but by now he's almost got that Face of the Mountain, and once he does, that's another shield to put on one of his members, and together with the Orianna shield and that Jarvan shield, they can already make someone very, very tanky.
Yeah, Leona hasn't had the best game right now. Got 1 assist out of the 2 kills that AH has been able to pick up so far in the game, whereas Thresh got 4 assists. And with assist sprees being a thing, he got quite a considerable amount of more gold than Leona. They both went for the shield, so obviously they both picked up some gold from CS as well. But in the end, Thresh is about 1,000 gold ahead in the show. See what's getting caught out here quickly. Flashing out of the Cataclysm. Blocky gets hooked in. Wonderful hit from Kitao. He moves it in, slays everyone back. That's the fight they've been looking for. Kitao going solo, has to flash away though. Or might this not be the fight? They get threshed here. Double kill for Renekton. Hikimari tries to flag and drag away, but the full AH team is in pursuit. Wow, 3-0 in their favor. The engagement looked so good, but in the end it was the choke that got them.
That was ridiculous. Thresh had a 4-man flay and then a very, very good box to follow up that original hook that started everything off. In the end, it was Renekton and Kha'Zix just coming into the backline at the right time. Kha'Zix re-engaging that one after getting caught earlier by the Cataclysm. And then Renekton, together with the Culling and that Kha'Zix, shredding everything on the blue team's side. There was really, their backline got to lead it. Thresh went very far forward. Trundle did as well to try and get back in there. And Orianna and Caitlyn were left alone back in the backline. And they just got annihilated. They had nothing to say about it. They didn't have their flashes, they didn't have their heals up, neither one of them. And they just got taken out almost instantly. And from there on, it was just a matter of cleaning up.
We take the outer turret from this fight, which is a good start. Gives them a bit of room to maneuver around the center map area. What they need to do now is establish pressure where they've just opened up the map. They need to claim territory for themselves. They've won the fight, which was pretty good. The hook was great, the box was as well, as was the 4-man flay, but the fight wasn't a choke, and Blocky was able to just place his ultimate there and consistently and constantly deal damage to everyone in that AoE. Combined with a relatively good solar flare, the fight just turned out in their favor. But, as we can see, TM are still not done. They just now took down that top outer turret, which means AH has no turrets left on the map apart from their inhibitor turrets.
Exactly, but that makes it all the more difficult now for the team of TEM to really go in there and try and finalize that inhibitor turret. That was dangerous. Renekton is not the one you want to hook.
No.
Do not go in on that, please.
No, smartly didn't. Nice pillar.
This is very dangerous right now. It's really the TM still feeling they have an advantage with it, which they do. They're still 3,200 gold ahead, and they can still use that advantage. They don't want to be as scared as they were in the first game. But they still have to be a little bit careful. We saw just a couple minutes ago what can happen if they don't pay attention to where they are and who from the enemy team is where. Now, Caitlyn is pretty good at sieging up a tower, but Anivia's wave clear is just so ridiculous, especially when paired with someone like Lucian, that the stall here from AH can definitely just last for quite a while longer.